Okay, I wanted to talk about this tank for a minute. This is actually my quarantine tank. And, there's a number of things to say about this tank that are really interesting to me. One is that there's hardly any algae growth, and I never scrape this tank. I'm sorry that the front of the tank is a little dirty right now. I need to wash that off. But anyway, the algae is almost non-existent, and that's happening obviously because the plants here are out competing the algae. And I mean, because this has a very bright light on it. This is a Phoenix. You can see, number one, how well the plants are growing. It's an oversized Phoenix light. And I'm only doing floating plants. There's nothing planted in the substrate. So, I think combination of the shade from the floating plants, as well as them thriving, the plants thriving themselves, there's no algae. That's not really what I wanted to talk about today, though. What I wanted to talk about are these two fish you can see in here. These two fish have prolapse, and there's a male and a female. Initially, I thought it was two males, but she turned out to be female. And as you can see, she is pregnant. Oh, there's a little cherry shrimp on my heater back there. I got this shrimp from LRB Aquatics. He's a scriddle. I got 10 of them. A beautiful fish, but I wanted to talk about their condition, which is prolapse. A lot of people assume that, fish like this need to be euthanized. And I don't necessarily disagree. I think it depends on your goals, right? It depends on how you want to approach the situation. But I did want to demonstrate here that fish with prolapse, even severe prolapse like her prolapse was actually maybe twice as long if you're talking about the ratio of the intestine you could see coming out of her body. It was enough to pigtail around 1.5 times. And his was quite a bit bigger too. And what I've noticed is as they grow, their bodies get larger, but their intestines don't seem to grow much. So, I mean, this is what I'm assuming is happening. The prolapse is slightly shrinking, and I think that's because the body is absorbing it. But I also wanted to demonstrate that these fish are healthy. They don't seem stressed. They're not showing any sign of infection. They're living. Obviously they're breeding, and that leads me to my next question: is whether she's going to survive, giving birth with her prolapse. It seems like that would be pretty difficult and stressful. So, they're thriving, they're okay. Obviously, they're more susceptible to infection, I'd imagine, but if you take care of them, I think you can keep them healthy. But anyway, I just want to talk about prolapse and my experience with it so far. Now, another thing that's interesting is, I don't know if this is a genetic condition or not, but I have only had these two individuals, and actually one of them was part of the parent colony. I've got a colony of guppies up above that I'll show you in a moment, but the Japanese blue, he was part of the original 10 parents, and she was a product of those parents. And I pulled them when I noticed the prolapse, and I'm not sure if it's a genetic condition, but they're the only two guppies in what I'm estimating is about 200 guppies so far that have this condition. So, of the individuals up here, only 2 of them are showing prolapse that I've noticed anyway. And the oldest generation, that's that purplish guppy right there in the middle. He's part of the oldest fry group in this colony. So they're starting to really get their colors now. But anyway, that's a little bit about prolapse. A little bit about algae, actually, as well. Bonus. And yeah, if you liked this, hit like. If you don't, hit dislike. Subscribe. Hit notifications. And let me know what you think about all this. I am still learning, so I'd love to learn. If you have some tips or if you have questions, I can try to help. Have a good one.